Lee Sin, one of the most iconic League of Legends champions, and he's almost as blind as Riot's balance team. It's been 4 months, Riot, come on, balance these items already. Our Lee Sin player today is named Hiena, and he recently hit Master Tier on EU West with a new Lee Sin mid playstyle that is like nothing we have ever seen before. This video is sponsored by U.GG. U.GG has all new profiles, the first and only ones, to track your LP per game. No other profile has this, not OPGG, not even Riot's own client. A Riot employee recently said U.GG's data is the closest to their own. Now, the site with the best data for builds and tier lists also has the best data for profiles. Search your summoner name on U.GG and see not just your LP, but also your division rank ups and promo series wins. Want to show off a pop-off game or a new rank up? You can pin a match to the top of your profile, plus other features like being able to set a skin background when you create a free account. I like the patch report feature a lot, because I can now see what champions have gotten me a lot of LP and which have been throwing it away, so I can ditch them. UGG also has some stats that you think only pro players get to see, like my gold share in game compared to the enemy, and how much I contribute after taking it. Guess I'm pretty good actually. 20% damage for less gold than the enemy, no big deal. If you want to win more games, their live game feature's also really cool. It shows you who is on their main role, so you know if someone's reliable, and it also shows you if there's a big difference in one of the lanes, so you might need to help them out. Check the link in the description to see the new features and try it out. Back to Lee Sin. He has a few insane strategies that turn Lee Sin into an instant assassin, with combos that have absolutely no counterplay. Pros hate when Lee Sin is strong, because he one-shots you with kick, but this Lee Sin doesn't even need an ultimate to one-shot people. Hiena started playing League of Legends in Season 3. He was not a fan of the game at first, preferring FPS games, because he loved making flashy, exciting plays, and he wasn't good enough at the time to do that in League. His friends convinced him to keep coming back, and eventually he gave in. Even from the start, he loved playing cheesy off-meta picks. In bot lane with his duo, Fizz and Warwick was one of their favourites, which he now admits makes absolutely no sense as a combo, so don't blame me when you lose in ranked with it, okay? His first ranked season was Season 4, placing in silver, and then trying to invent a new strategy of Ignite TP Malphite top, believing Malphite has a dash on his ultimate. Why would he need flash? This idea demoted him to bronze. Season 5, he decided to try some new styles, discovering assassins for the first time. He loved their flashy style and was able to climb to gold with Rengar. Season 6, more Rengar spam, becoming a one-trick and reaching platinum. To quote him directly, his edginess and ego were growing in the same proportion as his interest in assassins. And so in Season 7, he got his first, almost inevitable ban for toxicity. On a fresh account, he chose a new assassin to one-trick, Katarina, reaching Diamond, before once again quickly receiving a permaban, according to him after flaming a scripter. But who knows, it could have just been a Yasuo on his team. Looking back on this time now, Hiena has a lot of regret and is not proud of his actions. But in Season 8, Hiena had no problem getting 7 more accounts permabanned, simply from flaming people in chat. He was not climbing, his accounts were being banned too fast. He would reach his peak, and then a few games later get kicked off the account by Riot, back to leveling up a new one. He knew he needed to change, or he would never reach his goal of Master Tier, so he tried to reform, and began on a new account. Season 9, he spent a full season limit testing his mechanics, picking up Zed, Yasuo, and more Katarina, all the champions you don't want to see on your team. But still, he could not climb any higher than his diamond peak. After a hard-stuck Season 10, he moved on to Season 11. Of course, he had always loved Lee Sin, one of the champions in the game with high outplay potential, but he hated jungle because it never gave him enough chances to fight enemies instead of camps. One day, on a call with his friend, he was recommended Lee Sin mid. He tested it for a couple of games, and it went incredibly well, so they set a goal. He would go from Diamond 4 to Diamond 2 in the next 2 weeks with this weird pick. Surprisingly, setting a goal actually worked. This hard-stuck player randomly picked up this new style, and it fit him perfectly. Seemingly unable to lose with it, he had a 19-game winning streak, so he decided to keep going. Diamond 1 the next week, and after solo queuing through his master promos, he finally made it to his goal. Season 11 is full of these stories of people picking up a new champion and shooting up in rank. So why is this pick good in Season 11? Lee Sin mid is a very snowball-oriented pick, relying a lot on invading the enemy team and roaming a lot, playing on your item power spikes and getting them as soon as possible. As Riot continue to develop the game, solo queue games get faster and faster, with snowball lane games now one of the most dominant strategies, and Lee Sin fits this amazingly. You can directly compare this to a style like Hiena or Talon, champions with insane 1v1 outplay potential, and once they get going in a game, they are impossible to stop, because they have the tools to 1v5 while staying mobile. Much like these champions, Lee Sin mid has one secret weapon that's slowly gaining popularity, Prowler's Claw. Hiena believes this item is highly underrated at the moment, and once Lee Sin gets it, Hiena says he can one-shot anyone in the game, and Hiena means absolutely anyone. This is why Lee Sin wins games. Once you get this item, you can use it to outplay in any situation. With this item, Lee Sin does not even need his ultimate for fights. It's actually shocking how much damage he does with just a simple combo of basic abilities while using this item to gap close. combos, and enemies are shocked by the same thing, after they've already been instantly killed of course. But what about laning? Does any of this even matter if Lee Sin cannot get through laning phase? No. So Hiena has invented a very specific way of ensuring Lee Sin is able to survive lane and reach this insane power spike. At level 1 every single game, Hiena calls for an invade, but not a normal invade, a very specific one, through a side lane as 5 people, looking to use the level 1 power of Lee Sin to get an early advantage to help him in lane. Hugging this wall and entering with his team, he goes for kills. If he lands a Q, he holds it and ensures that enemies are dead no matter what. If they flash away, his Q lets him follow. If they save flash, they die anyway to his team, creating a win-win situation. After this invade, Hiena goes to lane. If you did find someone, you should have your Q leveled up. If not, you still have a choice to make, to go E or Q first. Hiena recommends Q into range matchups as it gives you kill pressure immediately, with electrocute and the execute damage from your Q. It does higher damage when they have less health. In melee matchups, the lane is a lot easier. An E start guarantees a good level 1 with an auto attack E combo. Lee Sin can proc his electrocute, even with the slow from E. This combo chunks around 30 to 40% of the enemy's health, while only giving them space to auto U once, so it's always a winning trade. Surprisingly, level 2 is where you start looking for a solo kill. With Q and E available, you can kill almost any champion just by hitting the first Q. Lee Sin is a champion that is all in on early game, no matter what role he is, and with a longsword start, he is already looking for kills. Hiena will always take a 1-for-1 trade kill. The sooner you get Prowler's Claw, the sooner you power spike and win the game. He really stresses the importance of the item, so this playstyle is all about getting it as soon as possible. Levels 3 to 5, your laning gets much easier. Trading becomes quite one-sided, with a QQE electrocute combo and a W to escape afterwards. Enemies cannot match this mobility or fast damage. When you unlock level 6 is also when you unlock every single play for Lee Sin. You can shove and roam, look for invades on the enemy jungle, or go for a kill in mid lane. Into melee champions mid, Hiena thinks you can almost certainly get a kill at level 6. So all these give you a lot of options to choose from. You're probably wondering, what if this guy plays against a good mid laner who has CC and just destroys him early game? Well, here's an example of it. He makes a stupid play, going into a big wave with no escape, and gets chain CC'd to death at level 1. Not the kind of start you ever want, especially not on a champion who wants to snowball. So his solution to this: turtle in lane until you reach level 6, getting CS or XP wherever you can, and then base to grab some long swords or a serrated dirk if you can afford it. You are now in a really strong position no matter how the lane has gone so far, and here he just goes for the 1v1 mid as usual at level 6, one-shotting Anivia back. From there he makes another very safe play, roaming top to get more fed, bases, and then back to mid for another kill. From there his early game mistakes have been fixed, he's ahead once again, and he can invade the enemy jungle with a level lead for a kill that cannot be outplayed. And after that he just keeps snowballing, looking to keep farming kills all around the map. What about in another worst case scenario in lane, if enemies freeze the wave against him? Firstly, this does not happen below Diamond, so 99% of players don't need to worry about it. And I also play in Diamond and everyone's terrible, so I don't think I need to worry about it either. Above Diamond, if enemies do start freezing, then he has a couple plans to fix it. If he's full health, his plan is to sacrifice that resource, go in and take the damage to push the wave, then heal it back up with basing or potions. If he can ask his jungler to help, they will come push it with him. Since he is in very high elo, mid is very important, and junglers will be looking to see if a lane needs this help. His worst case scenario is if his jungler cannot come, and if he's low HP, so his plan there is leave lane, lose the waves, to trade it for a possible roam kill, top or bot lane, or invading the enemy jungler. Who knows, it might even be a great idea to follow the Yusuke Tryndamere mid philosophy, track the enemy jungler's buffs to steal them on spawn. After level 6, Lee Sin cannot be frozen against, as he can always go for a solo kill, so it would only be an issue before then, in 1% of the players' games, and only if he messes up pushing the wave, allowing them to get a freeze. If these plans really do not work out, or you're just in a terrible counter matchup, and I'll talk about matchups later, Hiena has a plan B. He ditches the carry playstyle, focusing on getting Knight's Vow as his first item, and going full tank. This guarantees that he'll be useful for the rest of the game in one way, even if it's not damage. He plays to peel carries. Lee Sin is not a champion who comes back into a game using high damage. He comes back using his mobility, and kicks to peel or to get picks. Back to the usual game plan, as soon as you get Prowler's Claw, mid-game begins for Lee Sin, much earlier than other champions. With this item, focus on laning phase ends. You'll either constantly be killing your laner, or you'll be roaming and invading the enemy jungler, not thinking about CS or XP. This is really why it doesn't matter if Lee Sin is a good laner or not. He can use early damage to get kills 1v1 or with skirmishes, and then just get this one item and become a ganking jungler instead. Unsurprisingly, Hyena's next plan is to move around the map, continuing his snowball. These clips in the background are not from games where he is insanely fed, they are just the times where he has bought this item, then gone somewhere to use it. Mid lane gets the most XP and gold on the map, so of course he has 2 levels up on bot lane already, and of course he can one-shot them, destroying any chance of the enemy team winning this game. It's actually very simple to play this part of the game. If you meet anyone, you can kill them, and Hiena has a ton of different combos to do it. His favourite is Q into Prowler's Claw, into ultimate, and then Q to follow them and E for more damage. This lets you reach the enemy, dash through them, kick them backwards towards your team, following them and finishing them off with the E damage. In reality, you don't need to think much about these combos, because most enemies will die from whatever combo you try and use. You don't even have to land a Q, just ward hop in, E, auto attack, Prowler's Claw to chase, and kick to finish off the kill. You have way too much damage to worry about combos. This is no Hiena that has some secret impossible to learn Chinese combos that instantly win you the game. This is Lee Sin getting way too much power from one single item, and getting really far ahead, with damage that cannot be outplayed. With these mid-game picks, Hiena tries to translate them into objectives, getting Baron, towers, dragons, or even using them to force a 5v4 fight. Ideally, this never happens, but you may reach the team fighting stage of the game. Lee Sin loves 1v1s, and small split-up fights that he can just jump around using his mobility. He does not love 5v5s full of CC. But if Hiena does have to join teamfights, he has one specific plan. As a mid-lane champion with a ton of damage, you should only have one goal: patiently wait for an opportunity to reach the backline, trying to one-shot one of the carries. Quoting Hiena directly again, most of the time, you won't even need to ult to kill them. Q plus E plus auto attack is usually enough. I know it sounds crazy, but it does so much damage. This is right from the guy who has climbed to master, so I think we can trust it. Flanking, of course, is one important way to set up good fights, and Lee Sin loves buying control wards for extra ward hops, so this can let you control areas of the map and wait quietly for a target to pass by, jumping on them with Prowler's Claw. One super important section we haven't talked about yet is matchups. Hiena has written an awesome matchup guide for us, so let me break it down simply. Some champions should be an instant dodge for Lee Sin mid. You can always dodge once a day for -3 LP and no MMR loss, so you should always dodge these bad matchups. Against Lysandra, Heimerdinger, Renekton, Vigar, Syndra, get out of there. Next we have Hyena's somewhat difficult matchups that can be won. Most common are Annie, Zoe, Pantheon, and Lucian. Lots of them are a big struggle to lane against early on, with some having a lot of CC that can stop your engages to try and bait it out. Others have a lot of poke, like Lucian, who dies easily after level 6. With some practice, these can be beaten. Now onto the really good matchups, with some of the most common meta mid laners right now: Kassadin, Viego, Echo, Twisted Fate. All of these dying very easily to your damage with kick. There's even a category that Hiena thinks are immediate free wins with Lee Sin mid: Yasuo, Yone, Akali, to name a few. Melee champions cannot win trades against a Lee if he hits a Q. They are instantly half health when you go in. And we have the invisible champions. Lee Sin counters all of them, so Kiana, Akali, they're screwed. And then the immobile mages with not enough CC, or also just free stacks of gold. For Hyena's custom build, his first item will always be Prowler's Claw, and you get it before getting any other item, even boots. So Hiena starts Longsword with 3 potions to speed this up, as well as give him lots of extra sustain in lane. For his boots, he always buys Mercury Treads into CC comps, and always plated steel caps into auto attack champions. If they don't have a lot of either of them, you can also go cooldown boots. Second item, if you found yourself a couple of kills, Hiena goes for Edge of Night, which is especially amazing into champions with CC like Zoe, TF, that rely on one ability to win fights. If your early is not going amazingly, you can skip these lethality items and go to Sterak's Gauge second instead. This would always be part of your build, since it's great for survivability, and you don't need more lethality, since Prowler's Claw gives it to you as a mythic passive. Fourth item, always go Guardian Angel, exact same reason as Sterak's. Once you have these 4 items, you're untouchable, and you can do anything in fights. Fifth item depends on the enemy team comp. If they have a lot of healing, you probably already bought an Executioner's, so you complete that with Chempunk Chainsword. If the enemy team is heavy AD, go for Death Stance. If they're heavy AP, you go for Spirit Visage. And if they're tanky, you can go Grudge for the armor pen. Here's his rune page for every game: Electrocute for high damage, with some stacking minor runes to help snowball. I'm testing this out right now on twitch.tv/HappyChimeNoises. We just got partnered by Twitch, so come join the nicest league community on Twitch, and the Discord community as well for off-meta players. Thanks again to u.gg for sponsoring this video. Check it out in the description, and you can also check out Hiena at some of his social links. Thanks so much for watching.